What's up, everybody? Brothers, sisters, psychonauts, and seekers of truth. It is Ananka, and welcome to my bazaar. Today, I have an AMT trip report for you. The title of this trip report is Facing My Shadow Self, and was submitted to Erowid in 2003 by the user Schlaze. With all that being said, let our story begin. My friend owed me a favor, and I was surprised to get a call from him so soon. He wouldn't really tell me what he had for me, but he said it was waiting in his freezer in an aluminum Altoids box. I showed up at his apartment in the afternoon. I arrived and smoked a bowl of marijuana. Upon the arrival of my friend, we smoked some more, and he told me about the research chemical he had for me. I had been waiting for an opportunity to try a new psychedelic compound. It had been months since I last tripped. So around 3 o'clock, I ingested 2 gel caps, both containing 30 milligrams AMT. My friend laughed and asked if I ate both of them. I said yes, and then he told me that he had never heard of someone taking so much at once. I thought, oh well, here goes nothing. At T plus 30 minutes, I was definitely beginning to feel the onslaught. I can only describe the initial onset as a sensation of vibratory energy slowly gaining momentum. At this point, all systems go. At T plus 1 hour, I begin to hallucinate. It started as a glistening or reflective glow, kind of a shimmering that would occur randomly. Then I noticed that my body felt cramped or awkward, so I did some stretching on the floor. When I stood up, it was like the ceiling of the apartment had evaporated. All of a sudden, there was no feeling of being held in or contained. I stepped out on the porch and watched the bustle of the city night. Now I was tripping. At 1.5 hours, I now began to experience the physical rushing sensation, which is similar to ecstasy. I experienced random physical quirks, such as the twitching of my eye and the clenching of my jaw, which started as almost a shivering, although I was not at all cold. It was like a frequency was coming out of my cells and my mind. I narrowly avoided a bad trip at this time because I vomited quite ferociously. Looking up from the toilet, all of a sudden there was this green slime ooze that was all over everything, and it was moving like there was worms in it. I went to apologize to my friend, and his girlfriend was like, "Dude, what are you talking about? There's no mess in here at all." Then I returned to the act of just chilling. I read some of the teachings of Jesus. At 2 hours, I was now completely gone, lost in my artwork. I began to paint without any preconceived idea about what I wanted to do. It was some of the best art I had ever done. It was like rediscovering paint as a child. After doing a couple pieces, I tried to sit and meditate in the lotus position. But again, the energy kept building up the back of my spine, until all I could do was stand up and spread my arms to embrace all that is. At this point, the 2 couples I was with began to wind down, and it was apparent they were becoming ready to retire. I then thanked my friend for the AMT and his hospitality, and said goodnight. At 3 hours, I went over to my brother's apartment and watched Koyani Squatsi, Life Out of Balance, directed by Godfrey Reggio, with score by Philip Glass. The film would have blown open my mind sober. But my God, it was like watching the earth from the beginning of time to the present day in 2 hours. The best movie ever. After viewing it, my bro and I smoked some weed, and then he passed out. Time seemed to stand still and or evaporate at this point. My mind was still racing 1,000,000 miles a second from the film. It had completely changed the way I thought of myself as an individual. The film challenged me to the core. So I was left sitting in the dark on a large dose of AMT all by myself. Perfect. At who knows when, gradually I began to stop trying to sleep. I realized there was just no way I could pass out with so much mental activity present. I started to see outlines of what appeared to be a shadowy figure at the foot of the couch I was on. It gradually morphed into a very tall, hooded shadow person who was clearly standing just a few feet ahead of me. Every time my bro's VCR would flash 12 o'clock, I would see his outline against the ceiling. I was not scared, though. It was definitely a male entity, and it seemed he was challenging me psychically. He seemed to be non-hostile. I kept waiting for him to go away with no avail. I began to theorize that this shadow person was really just my shadow self, and that I was having an all-night stare-down with that part of the self which is denied during normal, waking states of consciousness. I came to terms with a lot that night. Looking back on it, it was like experiencing thousands of dollars worth of psychotherapy in just one night. A truly mystical experience. All right, everyone. That is the end of our story. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Share with us your AMT experiences down in the comments below. Check out the other videos and playlists on my channel. And I will see you in the next one, fam. Deuces.